Implementation of segmentation. So far, the phrase segmenting the market has been freely used in this course. But before segmentation can take place, you need to determine your market and identify its boundaries. In determining your market, you have to consider that customers make buying decisions after evaluating alternative and substitute products. For example, a margarine manufacturer cannot restrict itself to thinking about the margarine market alone. It has to take a broader view and consider the fat spread market, which includes butter, margarine, and other fat-based spread products. This is because all these products are contending to be used on the customer's bread. And being that the customer has options, they will develop attitudes and feelings towards the different fat spread types, especially after comparing price and product attributes. Now, this opens up a much wider competitive scene and makes the margarine manufacturer think more seriously about product positioning and how and why its customers buy from it. The issue of determining your market and its implications for segmentation is a timely reminder that customers basically buy solutions to problems and not products. So, in defining market segments, you should consider all existing products that will provide your potential customer with solutions that are similar to yours. Now, going back to our last example, the margarine manufacturer is not in the margarine market, but in the fat-based spread market, which makes manufacturers of butter and other fat-based spread products its competitors. After determining your market and segmenting it using a multivariable segmentation strategy, the next step is to decide which segment or segments you will target for your marketing strategy. In the next section, we will take a close look at targeting. Targeting. There are 3 targeting strategies. They are 1. Concentrated, 2. Differentiated, and 3. Undifferentiated. Let us examine each of them. Concentrated strategy. The concentrated strategy is the most focused of the 3 strategies, as it involves specializing in serving only one segment. Using this approach, you can acquire a very detailed knowledge of the target segment's needs and wants, which gives you the benefit of being perceived as the segment specialist. This perception can give you an advantage over more mass market competitors. However, companies that use this strategy run the risk of becoming complacent, leaving them vulnerable to new, innovative competitors. In terms of management, the concentrated strategy is attractive because you can keep costs down as there is only one marketing strategy to manage. Also, there is the potential for developing economies of scale. The concentration of resources into one segment may lead to a stronger, more defendable marketing positioning than if you spread your efforts across more segments. However, being a niche specialist may make it more difficult for you to diversify into other segments, either due to a lack of experience and knowledge or due to acceptance problems arising from being identified with your original niche. Also, there is no fallback position if your chosen segment fails. Moreover, competitors from related segments might establish new departments or products similar to yours if they see you succeed in your chosen segment. For example, Instagram launched the Stories product to take over the market segment Snapchat was successfully serving. Differentiated strategy. A differentiated strategy involves developing several marketing strategies, each of which serves a different segment. For example, Toyota manufactures a range of car models, each designed for a different user segment. For instance, the Yaris is at the lower end of the Toyota price range and is produced for the younger, newer driver. The Toyota Avalon, on the other hand, is in the higher price bracket and is produced for the status-seeking executive. The differentiated strategy allows you to tailor your product or service to suit different segments, enabling you to maintain satisfaction across chosen segments. It also allows you to spread risk across several segments so that if one segment fails, you can still survive from other segments. To be implemented properly, this approach requires a detailed overview of the market and how it is developing. However, acquiring this detailed overview comes at a cost in terms of both finance and managerial time. Also, there are the increased costs that come with managing the marketing strategies for several segments. With a differentiated strategy, you have to be careful not to overstretch your resources in the number of segments you attempt to cover so as not to dilute the impact of your marketing strategies. Nevertheless, in highly competitive markets, the differentiation approach can be your key to survival. Undifferentiated strategy. The undifferentiated strategy is the least demanding of the three targeting strategies. This strategy sees the market as one big homogeneous block with no segments. So just a single marketing strategy is used to serve the needs of the entire market. The undifferentiated approach does have some advantages. Firstly, the cost of executing it is relatively low, as there is no segmentation to be done and the singular marketing strategy to be used does not require the depth of research and fine-tuning that a concentrated or differentiated approach would require. If you decide to use the undifferentiated strategy, realize that you won't be able to satisfy every member of the market. What is likely to happen is that some people will like your product more than others. Therefore, segments will naturally emerge, and because your product is not tailored to any particular segment, it is unlikely that your product will accurately meet the needs of any particular segment. Furthermore, the segments will become easy to take over by any competitor with a more targeted strategy. In an established market, an undifferentiated strategy would be inefficient to use. It might have some benefits only if the product has little psychological appeal. For example, petrol is essentially a very ordinary product that many of us buy regularly but do not care how it looks, as long as it meets regulatory standards. The only differentiating factor between petrol brands at the moment will be price. However, petrol stations have begun to create market segments through strong branding and by providing auxiliary services such as car washes and mini supermarkets. Similarly, salt used to be held up as the prime example of a commodity product sold using an undifferentiated strategy. But this has changed as currently there are over 10 varieties of salt available to buyers. However, in some new industries brought about by innovative products, the undifferentiated strategy can be advantageous in the early stages of the industry's life cycle. But such companies would need to transition into differentiated or concentrated strategy as the industry grows and matures. Aside the advantages and disadvantages of the three targeting strategies we discussed, several other factors should influence your choice of targeting strategy. Marketing theory may point to a particular strategy as being ideal, but if your resources cannot support and sustain that strategy, then you should find an alternative. For example, a small company may need to adopt a concentrated strategy to generate the growth required to allow for the adoption of a differentiated strategy. It is also important to make sure that the choice of strategy fits the product. Certain types of product conform more readily to certain strategies. For example, a product like clothing that has many potential variations and a strong psychological relationship with buyers is best suited to a concentrated strategy. The product's life cycle stage might also affect the choice of strategy. For example, an innovative new product of which neither the industry nor the consumer has past experience. Such a product may first be marketed with an undifferentiated strategy in order to gain practical knowledge of the market's behavior and reactions, as it might be difficult to undertake meaningful market research before launching such a product. This difficulty is because potential customers may have problems imagining the product or putting it into context. When the product gets to the growth and maturity stages of its life cycle, differentiated and concentrated strategies will be more efficient as competitors enter the market and organizations learn from experience. This is a reminder that strategic decisions cannot be taken in isolation from the activities of competitors. If competitors are clearly implementing a differentiated strategy, then it is dangerous for you to adopt an undifferentiated approach. It may make more sense to identify the segments within which competition is strong and then assess whether it will be possible to attack them head-on in those segments or find a different niche and make it your own. Consequently, competition affects the choice of strategy and the choice of actual segments to target.